Hello, this is Ms. Schrader. Today we are going to be talking about the most famous painting in the world, the Mona Lisa, which you see here. My students, you're going to be needing a piece of paper and something to write with so that you can take notes, and when you're done, you're giving me between 7 and 10 sentences about what you find interesting, educational, and important about the Mona Lisa. So here's your fact sheet. The Mona Lisa was painted by Leonardo da Vinci between 1503 and 1506. It supposedly shows Lisa Ghirardini, the wife of Francesco de Zenobi de Giancondo. It is oil on wood, 30 inches by 21 inches. It is about life size with face, shoulder, and torso. Leonardo never felt that the painting was finished. Even though Lisa and her husband had paid for it, they never actually got the painting because he was constantly saying, not quite finished, just need to do a few more things with it, and so on and so on, basically for the rest of his life. He took it with him and worked on it for the rest of his life. Eventually, in his later life, he moved to Paris, taking the painting with him so that when he died, it remained there and is currently at the Louvre Museum in Paris. And this is the Louvre as it looks today. Today it is a museum in Paris. It used to be a palace for the king. And the glass pyramid was put in the 1990s, I believe. The Mona Lisa is in the center room of the Louvre, and she is in the center of the room. And if you were going to see her, you would want to make sure that you got there early. You want to rush to see her first, because as the day progresses, the crowds around her get larger and larger. Yes, I've been to see it. We did go early, and as the day progressed, because we were there all day, as we would go through that room to see something else, we could see that the crowds were getting bigger and bigger. Now let's take a look at the Mona Lisa again. As you look at her, I've been informed, and I don't know if this is true, she's supposedly the first painting that if you're moving around, it looks like her eyes are following you. So what I want you to do is stand up while looking at her, walk a little to your left, then to your right, and see if she seems to be following you around. The other thing I want you to notice is that she doesn't have any eyebrows. And the theory is that women in the Renaissance thought eyebrows and eyelashes were ugly and plucked them. But an x-ray of the painting actually shows that at one time she had eyebrows. Next thing I want you to look at is her smile. The Mona Lisa is famous for that sort of secretive smile that she's wearing, the Mona Lisa smile. And there's a beautiful story that goes with this, which may or may not be true. No proof that it is. But according to the story, the lady, Lisa, she had a secret at the time that she hadn't told anybody yet. She just found out that she was pregnant, and that's why she's smiling. Now I want you to look at the background of the painting, because some artists or art historians think it's the most important part, ironically enough. It looks like she's being painted out of doors. He is showing the background of the landscape. And remember, during the Renaissance, they were interested in Greek and Roman art, ancient Greeks and Romans, and they wanted to make things look realistic. So it was important to him to get the perspective correct. Perspective is a very important word. You want to make sure you know this word. It refers to when things are further away from you, you make them small so that they look realistic. And here we have a drawing that shows you perspective. You can see that this is showing a building, and the further back you go, the smaller everything is. And eventually it reaches what is referred to as the vanishing point, the point at which you are not going to be able to see anything. And that's what I mean by perspective. And with the Mona Lisa behind her, as things go further away from her, they get smaller and smaller. While I was visiting Paris and seeing the Mona Lisa, I was reading this wonderful book here about the theft of the Mona Lisa in 1911. And during that period, it was much easier for somebody to get a close view of the Mona Lisa. Artists literally could go in, take the painting off the wall, take it to a side room, and study it and paint copies and things like that of it. It was literally missing for 2 days before they realized it had been stolen. And there's a wonderful cartoon that I wanted to show you, and apparently I can't get it onto this film, that puts forward a perspective, a question about what may have happened. We see the Mona Lisa leaping into a carriage being driven by Leonardo da Vinci. So what happened to the painting? She left town with Leonardo da Vinci. In reality, the painting was missing for 3 years. And then it was found out that a rather silly Italian gentleman had stolen it and hidden it under his bed. And his intention was that, it being an Italian painting by an Italian artist, he intended to take it to an Italian museum and leave it there. The Mona Lisa got an opportunity to tour Italian museums before eventually returning to the Louvre. The Mona Lisa, as I've mentioned, is the most famous painting in the world, and as a result of that, she's become the subject of a great deal of fun pop culture things that I'm going to be showing you now. Here she is, a little bit more modern Art Deco, and yet she's got the same face, the same pose. If you notice, she's got a background that proceeds away from you. It shows perspective, but she's done in a very different way. There were a lot of fun pieces that I found that I wanted to put on here, and once again wasn't able to. There are a lot of pieces where they take the Mona Lisa and they put someone else's face on there. There was a painting in which it's the Mona Lisa with Barack Obama's face. They also do a lot of things where they take the Mona Lisa's face and put her somewhere unusual. Found a lovely piece that shows the cast from the TV show Friends, and each of them has the face of a famous painting, and one of them has the Mona Lisa. For our Star Wars fans, here is Jar Jar Binks as the Mona Lisa. Okay, my students, we have been talking about the Mona Lisa, the most famous painting in the world. There she is. What I'd like you to do is give me between 7 and 10 sentences about what you found interesting, educational, and important concerning what you've learned about the Mona Lisa. Thank you.